promoting a healthy environment. It's the air we breathe. Clean, safe water. Responsible management of our natural resources. We protect and restore for a sustainable future. Environment matters.
This is the one chance to get a complete picture of the whole operation from beginning to end.
It's the first study of its kind led by West Virginia University to take a long-term look at ways to improve energy development in the Marcellus Shale in an environmentally responsible manner. Plus,
you have thousands of acres that are unused in the state of West Virginia that have either been they've been mined and reclaimed and are sitting there that could be utilized for production.
a pilot project pairs veterans and beekeepers on former surface mine sites. We'll find out what all the buzz is about. Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Environment Matters. I'm Greg Adolphson with the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection. It's hard to underestimate the impact of the shale energy boom in West Virginia and throughout the Appalachian region. According to the West Virginia Division of Energy, it's estimated that the Marcellus Shale formation, found under much of the state, contains more than 50 trillion cubic feet of recoverable natural gas. As recently as 20 years ago, much of that gas was thought to be out of reach using conventional extraction methods, but that changed thanks to breakthroughs in technology that allowed developers to tap into gas deposits trapped deep inside rock formations through horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing. To get an idea of how much of an impact this has had on the nation's energy supply, consider this from the U.S. Energy Information Administration. In 2000, shale gas wells represented just 1% of the country's natural gas production. By the year 2035, it's projected to account for almost half. Getting that gas to the surface more efficiently and in an environmentally responsible way is the goal of the new study led by West Virginia University. The DEP's Sarah Sharp joins me now with more detail.
Greg, it's called the Marcellus Shale Energy and Environmental Laboratory, and it's a research project that's unlike any previous study. The project teams researchers from WVU and The Ohio State University in the first ever long-term comprehensive field study of a Marcellus Shale gas well operation.
The primary purpose of this project was to develop actually a field laboratory. An opportunity to be able to conduct research in an actual operation as opposed to do it on the paper or in the laboratory. There was an opportunity that came along with the Northeast Energy having drilled 2 wells near Morgantown, and then they're planning to drill additional wells on this site.
The 5-year, $11 million study will focus on operations at the site and bring together a team of scientists, engineers, ecologists, and public health professionals to identify and develop new and improved technologies for shale gas exploration, extraction, and development.
We have a person working on public policy. We have a person working on economic impact, local, regional impact. We have people working on the water. We have people working on the air. We have people working on understanding the microseismic in the subsurface and the seismic, how the rock breaks and how the well is drilled. We have people working on how to make models to try to predict it and make it better. We have people working on the cement. I mean, there's a whole raft of different aspects to this, and the whole idea is to try again to improve the performance of these wells while minimizing the impact.
The project is expected to generate a massive amount of data, information that normally doesn't come from a typical production well.
We're going to drill what is referred to as a science well. This is a vertical well which we drilled near the horizontal well that eventually going to be drilled. And they will be instrumented with different equipments that they can measure a variety of different things. One of the things, for example, they can do geoseismic measurements, so we can actually see when they frack the well, how things happens in subsurface. Also, they can monitor the water and subsurface fluid nearby the production well. And this will give us an idea that what it looks like before, during, and after the drilling and fracturing of the horizontal wells.
And it's that complete end-to-end look from drilling through fracking, completion, and production that makes this study unique.
In terms of science, it's like analyzing a car trip. Well, right now, if you look at the science that's been done, basically you have someone coming in a helicopter and studying that car, and you in the car and what's in it, I don't know, at random intervals along your trip. And you say, well, a trip to Denver is like this, okay? And, well, it may be a stretch of interstate highway with no traffic on it. So is that representative of your whole trip to Denver? Well, no. So, and then other times you might get in the middle of a traffic jam and say, well, your average speed between here and Denver is 25 miles an hour. Well, that's not true either. Well, by studying the trip from beginning to end, you actually get to know the entire cycle. Well, there's no one way to drill and complete a shale gas well. There are lots of complexities in the process, and there are lots of things that change, like pressure, how much water you use, what kind of chemicals you're putting down hole, what your release rates are. All of these things have the potential to affect the environment.
Greg, information from the study will allow operators not only to find more efficient ways to improve a well's production, but also to focus their attention on specifically where corrective measures may need to go in to help make for a safer overall operation. For Environment Matters, I'm Sarah Sharp.
Thanks, Sarah. The lab will also provide real-world training and education for undergraduate and graduate students. The project is a partnership between the two universities, West Virginia-based Northeast Natural Energy and the U.S. Department of Energy. Representatives from the DEP recently updated the state legislators on a study focusing on the level of radioactive material found in drill cuttings from the horizontal well sites. The DEP has tested 15 sites for radioactivity and drilling waste at multiple sites in north central West Virginia. DEP Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management Mike Dorsey told lawmakers that the study found very low levels of radioactivity, well below levels that would present any harm to the people or the environment. Currently, 6 West Virginia landfills are accepting drilling waste. The DEP is working to install radiation detection and set limits for the level of radiation permitted at the facilities. Those limits are expected to be finalized in January. Recycling is one way we can all help limit the amount of material that goes into our landfills. Now, thanks to a DEP grant, one county's recycling program is getting a big boost.
The bays are filling up at the Marion County Solid Waste Authority's Recycling Center, but that's a good thing. Up until recently, the county had to outsource all of its recycling, shipping it off for processing, and losing money in the process.
We'll be in more control of when we can empty our bins, and also it'll help with our revenue too. Before we sent it to Mon County, and we just got a small percentage of what the profit was. But this way we'll be in control. We can weigh everything. Our tonnage will be accurate, and everyone will benefit.
The Recycling Center accepts number 1 and 2 plastics, magazines, newspapers and cardboard, and steel and aluminum cans. It's a program that's gaining popularity.
In 2012, we went together with the county commission, and we got the Freightliner truck with the hook system, and then we slowly started accumulating bins that would go with that through Solid Waste Management Board grants and REAP grants. Just this year, we got a REAP grant, and we were able to get 2 balers and a couple more bins, and then with the Solid Waste Management Board grant, we was able to get an open top bin and then some barriers and some concrete, which we haven't put in yet, for the recycling facility.
The addition of the balers is what allows Marion County to sell its recyclables directly to the manufacturer, cutting out the middleman and putting the Solid Waste Authority on a path towards self-sufficiency.
Marion County's big on recycling. And they'll do anything to keep it from going to the landfill. So I look for a lot of people to want to come here directly and drop off stuff rather than go to some of our satellite sites.
A big part of that success is education, but it hasn't all taken place in the schools.
I really didn't think it would be this popular. And I know the youth, everybody thinks the youth's going green, but I'm out at the sites changing out the bins and such, and it's all ages. It's old people, young people, kids, middle age. They're just on board. I think people are finally getting it, that, the landfill isn't the answer.
In Farmington, I'm Kelly Gillenwater for Environment Matters.
The Recycling Center recently celebrated its grand opening with an open house. If you're interested in getting involved with recycling and litter control in Marion County, you can join their Recycling and Litter Control Task Force. The information is on their website, marion.coswa.org. The DEP's Office of Abandoned Mine Lands has received Federal Office of Surface Mining funding for an emergency project in the town of Whitehall. An underground mine fire is burning along U.S. Route 250 near the outskirts of town. Smoke from the old Coon mine is visible from the surface. DEP investigators believe the fire is burning in an area about 300 feet by 50 feet, although the coal seam the fire is in could stretch for miles. Exploratory drilling was completed recently, and preliminary indications seem to show the fire is contained to the area that is currently venting smoke. Sensors indicate underground temperatures ranging from 135 to 675 degrees. Investigators say it's likely that the fire has been burning for years. There are multiple homes and businesses in the area. Crews are working to survey and map the site so the coal seam can be excavated, the fire put out, and the area backfilled and sealed with clay on both ends. The last step is to prevent oxygen from getting into the other areas of the coal seam where additional fires may be burning. We'll have more on this developing story in the next edition of Environment Matters. Coming up.
So this is a location that when we found this was just premium property.
In fact, you could say it's a honey of a deal. We'll see what all the buzz is about. Those stories and more when Environment Matters continues.